I have solid basis for my statement that Ferdinand Marcos was the most corrupt president that the Philippines ever had. And this is what I want to say to you. 40 years after we kicked out Marcos, we have a second Marcos as our president.
Peoples of the earth, these are the real truths about Marcoses, so don't be fooled. I've posted this before, and now I will post this again. This is what E.L. Soriano preached, as he said he believes what was been preached by someone, that his explanations are really believable, that Marcoses are not really corrupt. No one at that time ever revealed to the world that Marcoses are really not corrupt. Instead, he developed the Philippines with their own wealth, as by their capabilities and intellectuality. In my first blog and in my comments to the blogs of accusing Marcoses as corrupt, I have my computation about it. I said, how could you accuse Marcoses as corrupt if their money or wealth that you accuses the Marcoses that they acquired it from corruption if you compute the total revenues throughout his 2 decades tenure without subtracting those that the Marcoses have used for charities, welfare, calamities, salaries for government employees, etc. It cannot even reach the 1/8 of the wealth of Marcoses that you suspected is from corruption. And how I could not say that the Marcoses developed the Philippines from their own wealth. Just simple as it. Compute the total revenue of the Philippines during his 20 years of incumbency if it could reach the amounts of those projects that he made, and such government's own factories, and or what he gave to those small-scale industries. He had bought such private factories in the Morocco which are so essential to the citizens, and that the citizens will be served by his or by the governments excellently or accordingly. Now how stupid are the politicians and the citizens that they could not realize. Former President Ferdinand Marcos developed the Philippines with such a very small revenues, compared to this time that the Philippines having so big and many revenues, and even every administration's having a billions or trillions of loan, but such a strange that they could not even build just even one factory, or could help such small-scale industries. Look at that, you fools. All our industries have fallen, even our local or native plants were now gone. They are fond of building such infrastructure where they could rob money, boasting for it as not realizing or denying the fact of using the wealth of the Marcoses and the banks as collateral. And now look what they are doing. They are sabotaging the administration of PBBM, and a PBBM could not do alike with those good things that his father had done to the Filipinos or to the Pilipinos. And that they could forever implant in the minds of Filipinos that the Marcoses are really bad, contrary to the facts or to the prophecy of Nostradamus that FPFEM is the greatest lover and the PBBM is the great lover. Then, when this my revelation was divulged, those stupids, trying to make a new issues again, just to make it arrive that the Marcoses are really corrupt, as they said the Marcoses robbed the goals of the central banks, which this new accusation was never been mentioned in any courts or in any administrations, that even FPRRD, the most evil enemy of PBBM, did not say that the Marcoses have stolen the goals of the central bank during FPFEM tenure. Now, as to when these curses that were made by those real demons since FPFEM, to all who are accusing Marcoses as corrupt, post your question or rebuttals or accusations on Facebook public group Gods, Allahs, Jesus religion of truth is in one God, and I will explain that detail for detail with reliable basis and reliable explanations.